Welcome everyone once again to the Spanish Breakfast Show live on YouTooSpain. I'm Skatz and I'm finding the answers to lots of your questions about moving to, moving through and living in Spain by speaking to experts and expats and other exciting people with stories to tell. You can ask your questions in the chat box, either over there or down there, depending on which phone or computer you're watching on, or if you're not watching live, in the comments below. Either way, I'll get you some answers and some delightful guests. As usual, my lovely wife Liz is looking in and will be on the chat under the name YouTube So if I miss any questions, she will pass them on to me. Give her a wave, everybody. Hello, Liz. There you go. Oh, she says a countdown. How exciting. I've just added that. So on today's show, I'm talking to a couple from the UK who made the tough decision to move to Spain last year so that they could be resident before Brexit made it a lot more tricky. They've got a lot to say about looking for houses, setting up a self-employment business and getting to know the local community. So without further ado, hit that like button and let's meet my lovely guests, Mark and Adele Hockey. Good morning, Mark and Adele.
Good morning.
Hola.
Hola, buenos dias. Oh. It's lovely to have you on the show and thank you for taking the time to be with us. I'm going to crack on with the questions straight away. So what was it first made you want to move to Spain in the first place?
For me, I've always wanted to move to Spain and I don't know why, because I'd only ever been here once in my teens, but I'd always had this yearning to come to Spain. Again, I don't know why. Probably because of the nice weather. I'm not one for the English cold, grey, damp weather. And really, we just sort of fell into coming here. Really, it all happened very, very quickly. Yeah.
So we thought about different places. We thought about southern France as well, but then we thought about the weather was just the same. So we said, let's move further south. So we ended up in southern Spain, and we were drawn to this place. So beautiful.
Yeah, you were telling me you moved in August, so that must have been a bit warm.
It was. It was very warm. It was sort of like I think the couple of hottest days that they had here, and it was very, very warm. We had to unload all our belongings on the hottest day, which was great. We were thrown into the deep end.
40 degrees inside the van.
Yeah, it was very, very warm. Hey, we done it.
Yeah.
We survived.
The thing is, in the UK, when there's a bit of sun, you're out there and you want to sunbathe. When we got here, I was literally covering up for the first time in my life, going, I've got to get out the sun. It was so hot, but it's beautiful. We got used to it now, acclimatized now.
Yeah.
So.
Good, yes, you've given yourself the time now. And so tell us about the journey down. You didn't fly, did you?
No.
We drove all the way from Leicestershire. VW Polo, 2 dogs in the back, bits and pieces everywhere, and got the train across, the Euro tunnel train. And it's weird because I can't remember most of the journey. I remember the stop-offs. We stopped off in France twice and once in northern Spain, but the journey on the motorways is just a blur, really. It wasn't that bad. The only downfall is we started off in France with avoiding toll roads and stuff. And we ended up doing so many roundabouts, so many little towns, so many excursions that was pretty scary to me because it's all narrow roads and everything, getting lost. So he goes, no, let's adjust that back to toll roads. And that was a godsend because it's so much easier. So anyone worries about toll roads, take them. Okay, it costs a little bit of money, but it saves you a lot of hassle. And it really did.
It's true. The tolls aren't that much anyway. They're only a few euros most places.
Yeah, absolutely. And the exciting bit was coming over the Pyrenees. That was quite funny because the sat nav took us on a route I don't think it's ever taken anyone on. It was just like a single track road going up mountains and facing like oncoming traffic on the same side of the road as you, and you think, oh my gosh. And when I've spoken to everyone else, how did you get across the Pyrenees? They said, oh, it's lovely, massive roads and clearance and everything. Where did it take us? But it was a good experience because
it was beautiful.
It was scary but exciting, and there's some beautiful scenes on the way through, so it was fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful. So, tell us about the house you bought, and sort of the area where you are, and do you have neighbours? Are you very isolated? Is it far to the shops?
Well, where we wanted, what we were looking for, obviously on our search originally, was somewhere sort of inland. We didn't want to be on the coast, but not too far away. So we're about 40 minutes from the coast. But we wanted somewhere inland, probably sort of like in the mountains, which there's mountains everywhere in Spain. And somewhere sort of quiet as well, because obviously with our business, we didn't want to be sort of surrounded and overlooked by people. Mm-hmm. So, so this is where we found in Los Iglares, and it is a very small town. There's not I'm not sure the number of people here, but the whole of the bigger area is Arbeláez, and there's only 5,000 in all of that. Mm-hmm. So our sort of little town is quite small, and we're up sort of like what they call a rambler. If nobody knows what a rambler is, it's sort of like a dry riverbed. But you find that you can drive down them. They're like shortcuts and things, and so we have a little rambler coming up to our place, and a little track, and so it's lovely. And so we're up quite high, and you sort of have houses sort of below around. And we're also opposite a lovely a Roman mine as well that they're opening up to the public soon, where the Romans used to come and mine the I can't remember the name of it.
I can never remember.
No.
Glass.
Something specularis.
Lapis
specularis. And they used to use it for their windows and mirrors.
It's like literally like blocks of ice, but not ice. It's like a rock, but it's clear. But if you cut it, it comes off in sheets. You just knock it, it comes off in sheets. So the thin sheet, you can get light through it. It's a bit opaque, but you can get light through it. So they use it as windows, so all the light can come into their buildings and stuff and everything. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so that's
beautiful.
Yeah, so we've got this wonderful big mountain in front of us. It's got all this wonderful crystal in. And that's what I think what sort of drew us, the energy of that here.
And you can literally see.
That's gorgeous.
You can see the sea just round the corner, sort of thing. If you just go a couple of roads up, you can see the sea, which is only 40 kilometres away. So it's not too far.
Yeah, they'd call that a sea view on a place in the sun.
Literally, not what I called it.
There is a road called Sea View, because they sort of a bit further round and up, and they can actually see the sea.
Liz says, it sounds like slate, that material, how it comes up.
Yes,
it's same sort of the way it breaks up.
That's probably the best way to describe it. It really is.
And she's anticipated my next question as well. What kind of business do you do?
Okay, want to go for it?
Holistic therapies, alternative therapies to the sort of modern medicine. So we do different ones. Me personally, I'm more like an energy worker. So I work in Reiki, kinesiology, which covers allergy testing and allergy correction. Sometimes the body will allow you to correct an allergy or intolerance. Emotional energy clearing, sound and energy, spirit healing, power retrieval. Have I missed any? I normally do. But I'm sort of like, I work with energy, with the energies of the body and the outer energies as well. And
I'm a hypnotherapist, so any fears, phobias, worries, issues, anything at all in your life that is restricting you, slowing you down, causing you problems, panic attacks, anything like that, that's what I resolve. And it's absolutely fantastic. I got into hypnotherapy because I looked into all different sorts of therapies, but they were more conscious working therapies where you're talking openly with your eyes open, and it takes so long, and it doesn't really go to resolve the issues that are causing all the problems. But hypnotherapy is a completely different thing, where you're relaxed, you're not asleep, not awake, but you're relaxed, and literally you're working with the subconscious mind where the issues actually are, and people can resolve them so quickly. And you know, I had a lady, well, a couple of ladies this week, and one of them said how quick and easy it was. So that's why I got into it. But yeah, so we sort of bounce off each other. So if I've got a client that's something I can't work with, there's something that Adele could do, and vice versa, sort of thing. But on the personal side, if I've got any pains and problems and knee aches and everything like that, I come and see Adele, and she goes, "Yep, just sit there and I'll sort the pains out for you." And she does a spiritual healing and things. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, that's not me. It's spirit healing. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, we've actually got a lot in common. We found out that my wife Liz is a holistic therapist. She does aromatherapy and yoga and meditation and a few other ones as well, which I'm sure she'll list on the side there on the in the chat for everybody else, because I can't remember them all either. But yeah, we even found out that you said you were living in Leicestershire before. You're not from there, but you were living there before, and that's where we moved from before we came to Ireland. So we found out that we're probably 15 miles away from where we used to live.
Yeah.
There's amazing coincidences. It's a small world.
It's great.
Nothing's coincidence.
No, this is true. I was telling you about the couple that I know from Leicestershire, who they were hitchhiking in the foothills of Everest, and they were at basically the last inn, the last place where you could get food and nourishment. And there was one other couple there at the next table, and it turned out that they knew their best friends from Leicestershire. So small world. And you've experienced it over in Spain as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
We cross paths with people that are friends of our friends in the UK as well. And I literally, just before we moved here, we got into a few groups, which we'll get onto in a minute, sort of thing. And one of the groups, a young lady come back and said, "Oh, you know, Mark, where are you moving to?" So I told her. She goes, "Oh, you're only half an hour away from me." And this is a lady that I used to, grow up with when I was a small child up the same street. I said, "Where are you then?" And she goes, "We're down in Pachena. I can never get the words right." So we met up over here, and it's just such a small world. You go, wow, why are we all drawn down to this place? It's fantastic. We've met more and more people, and one thing just comes to mind. We got invited round to some people down the road from us, because everyone's so friendly, such massive family here, really, of expats. And we were sitting there having a drink with these people ages ago when we was allowed to, and all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, I've got somebody who's coming to see you," sort of thing, because he's a friend of your dad's. And I go, "What?" This guy come in and sat down. He goes, "Oh yeah, I used to work with your dad." And this, I go, "Wow, this is such a small world again, isn't it?" All this way, and people we know already. So that's brilliant.
That's amazing. I mean, I was going to ask you, does being isolated in that area where you are down a track, down a river, does that cause you any issues? But it seems like you've made loads of friends already, and there's a community.
Yes, it's literally, we've come from London up to Leicestershire, so we've moved from a very busy, I say rat race, to quieter locations. Now we're in a really quiet location. It's just ideal, because obviously our relaxing retreat is what we're running. So it's peace, it's tranquility, and it's, you can just sit out there in the garden and just hear the birds singing sometimes and nothing else. It's absolutely perfect, but you're not too far away from any help whatsoever. So when you move out to places like this, and, it was like a rabbit in headlights sort of thing, but once you're on the Facebook groups, or the local Facebook groups, everyone's so helpful. If you've got any problems, any worries whatsoever, they're on there, and they go, "Right, this is what you do, and how to help you, and every advice you need, just you throw it on there. Where can I get one of them from? You go here." It's brilliant. It's fantastic out here. You're not left on your own, which is a good thing.
Oh, that's brilliant. Did you decide on that particular region early on, or was it just where you happened to find the house?
Well, literally, we was going to Alicante, weren't we? We was going to look around there. So we booked flights and everything to Alicante. And do you want to talk?
Well, no, we did. We were originally going to sort of look at houses around Alicante, but then things fell through there. And so we our search really sort of came further down to sort of like Arbalest, which is in the region of Almeria. And really that was, I think when you look, you are obviously put in a price budget that you're looking around, and then you're obviously going to look at the type of houses that you want, or properties, or whether you want it, near the sea or inland, if you want a villa, or if an old, an old place, a new place. It all depends what you want, and that, I think, that then draws you to certain areas. And so, yeah, so most of our search was sort of like further down where we are now. And it just happened to be that the last house that we came over and looked at was this one, which was really all that we needed here.
We've done as much pre-planning as we could before, coming over here to have a look. But the estate agents over in Alicante were letting us down so much with no response and not helpful. So when something wrong here, we just put them to the side, and we still carry on flying into Alicante. But we'll travel down, the hour and a half to around this area, see some houses around here. And we literally looked at 7. And each one was nice. Some of them were really nice, but in the wrong area, or something that you need a lot of work doing to it. So basically, you're weighing up all the pros and cons of money and area and what you need. And in the end, we got through 6 places, and we just wasn't finding what we needed. And we was looking at each other thinking, well, it's not going to work in Spain. I don't think there's anything here that really pulls our energy to it. And they said, well, there's one place left on the way back. Do you want to have a look at it? It's on the way back, we might as well. And this was this place, and we walked into it and we went, that's the one. So it's literally a shock, really, because I'd given up by then. And when we walked into here, my views completely changed. I went, wow, this is it. It's everything we want, the peace, the quiet. It's not too far away from everything or everyone. But it's just got space. It's just, ticks all the boxes.
I would say sort of be open a bit, sort of a bit open-minded and open to sort of change a little bit and sort of view different things, because it's not always what you see maybe in the UK looking through pictures and that. It may not, when you actually get here, it can be completely different, and you have a different view of it. And some happy places you might think, oh, that's lovely, that's really nice. And when you get there, it's not what you thought. So, be sort of quite open to sort of try different places as well. So,
because we did have a tick list, didn't we? This is what we sort of require, is see which places would tick the most. But they were all different, weren't they? Some had some great aspects to them, and others were just in the wrong areas and things. But
I think you're drawn to where you're supposed to be anyway. And if things do go wrong, like our first sort of searches around Alicante, obviously that didn't happen, and that didn't happen for a reason. So that if things don't happen or things fall through, don't get disheartened. It's not meant to be, I don't feel. So you will find the place and where you're supposed to be at the right time.
Because everyone says out there that you should really come out here and just stay somewhere and visit around and look around the area, sort of thing. We've done a complete opposite. We just come out and bought, just went, that's it.
I think we made our minds up, haven't we? Sort of. But this was going to be a complete life change, and it wasn't, we'll just sort of dip our toe in and sort of see how it was. We were going for it, because otherwise I don't think it wouldn't have worked, because our whole heart wouldn't have been in it, and it had to be for it to work. So that's why we went for it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's really good advice. I mean, most people get the advice, try it out, dip your toe in, but it's like when you find your life partner, isn't it? You just you know when you find them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, is there enough to do socially around there if you're isolated? I mean, I know it's very different now because there's a lockdown and you can't get together with other people, but when that opens up, do you think it's going to be easy for you to get around? And because you're not walking distance away from the nearest bar, are you?
Well, there is a sort of a bar that we've heard of. This is before the restrictions, obviously hasn't been open since, but there is a bar sort of walking distance from us that people say, this is where we always go every weekend or every month or whatever it is. So there is somewhere close. There is a restaurant 5 minutes away, but there's a lot of socialising around here as well. So there's lots of groups of, come over to us this weekend, we'll have a drink and a barbecue, whatever. So there's a lot of that going on. So everyone's sort of grouped into a family atmosphere around here. But to go town-wise, pub-wise, bar-wise, that sort of thing, then it's 15 minutes drive. And everyone accumulates in different parts of that as well. So we're always meeting up with friends of friends, in different places. So you've always got something to do outside of there. But where we are, we're working on the garden and the house we've been doing. So the restrictions haven't allowed us to do any visiting really, or go anywhere coast-wise yet, which we've got on our list of plans to do.
We've got lots of things we want to do. I think once things are opened up, there'll be plenty to do. And even like the Spanish haven't been able to have their fiestas, and they have plenty of those, don't they? Each town has their own fiesta, and then they have the bigger area fiestas, and then they have the Spanish fiesta. So they're always, finding some excuse to have a party where everyone will be involved. So obviously we haven't been able to go to any of those, which is a shame. And to be honest, we haven't really been able to see the true sort of Spain or just, the area that we're in because of all the restrictions. So I'm sure, we find plenty to do here as it is, but I'm sure once everything is opened up again, that, be even more things to do. So there is,
it's all waiting in our future.
Yeah.
No rush.
No. It will come when it's ready.
Yeah, it's all mañana. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
That is the word.
Got used to that out here.
I know you're. So you say that you've not seen much of the Spanish people really. Is it mostly expats that you're friends with at the moment, or do you have some Spanish customers and friends?
Yeah, it's more expats at the moment.
Yeah. The area we're in, I suppose it's probably about 50-50 Spanish and other nationalities. Because there's French, German, Dutch.
Belgium.
Yeah, there's quite a sort of a mixture here, which is nice. Customer-wise, at the moment, it is mostly English-speaking because we're not quite up to scratch on our Spanish yet, which is ongoing. But yeah, we have met, some nice Spanish people as well.
Yeah. The only Spanish word I know is mañana, as you know.
It seems to be working at the moment.
Yeah.
When's everything going to be open? Mañana. Many mañanas ahead. So yeah, are there any unusual or funny people or you've met along the way, or any stories?
Good question.
Well, we've got a lovely neighbour called Manolo, who's a goat farmer, and he comes up and around sort of like the area, the fields, the mountains near us, bringing his goats for a walk and a munch on the vegetation round here. And he's quite a character, really nice, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
And although he doesn't speak English and we don't speak Spanish, we seem to communicate quite well. But yeah, he's lovely.
Yeah, he's so great, so happy. But he does make me laugh when you can hear him in the distance swearing in Spanish at his goats that have run off some other day.
They're all scattered everywhere, but somehow they all follow him back home. But
How, I don't know. There's got to be 100 goats. How he knows they're all there.
Oh, it's a special talent, I'm sure. Yeah. So, are you good at picking up languages then? I mean, how do you think you'll cope with that?
Well, I've always attempted to speak Spanish when we're talking to Spanish people in the businesses, the companies and the shops. I can say probably a sentence at a time. If it makes any sense, I do not know, but they seem to understand somehow. But usually you'll start speaking Spanish to someone, they start speaking English back to you. So you think, I don't know. But it's always good to get that Spanish first because that makes you feel, they see that you're trying, and that's the main thing.
You end up sort of speaking Spanish and a bit of English and a bit of Spanish and they're doing the same as well, talking a bit of Spanish and a bit of English, and sort of somehow you sort of work out what each other's saying.
So to go on to, if we get onto the side of setting things up for yourself when you move out here, like renewing everything. just forget everything you had in the UK, because that's all gone. You've got to reset up everything from, your electric, your water, your car tax, your insurances, everything that you need. Slightly different in different things, but we found it was easier to get somebody to help us to set things up, like driving licenses and insurances and things, and doctors as well,
and residential,
because there's a lot of Spanish conversation needs to be done to get things correct and the correct paperwork, and it can be time consuming if you get it wrong, and if you have to drive to Almeria to sort things out, like your residency, your TIE cards and everything, and you've got the wrong paperwork or something's not right. That's a long drive there and back for no reason. So we always use somebody over here that's helped us do it, and we just give them the details. They go and do all the hard work and come back and we just sign things and get it done. So we found that easier. A lot of people say, we do it ourselves, but not what the truth of behind it. Usually it takes a lot longer, and they make mistakes and cause a bit of chaos for them. So we just wanted everything cleared up and done as quickly as possible in the easiest way. So that's what we've done. But the other things, we've done ourselves. We can go into places and you find trial and error. What paperwork you need, when do you need to go. So it's always visiting. There's not much done online these days in Spain. It's more visiting face to face. And the majority of the stuff you need doing is at the town halls. So you need to always go there and you go, right, how do I sort this out? Oh, you need this, and you go and see that guy or that guy. And luckily there's usually a Spanish, an English speaking person that can help. So. But it's a lot of paperwork in Spain. You've just got to make sure you've got everything paperwork-wise in the correct order, so to get it done. But
Google Translate is a must if you don't speak the language, and don't forget as well. It depends what region you are in Spain. Their Spanish changes a bit as well. So you may learn one type of Spanish, and then when you get here, they don't understand you because it's a different sort of dialect. So if you have Google Translate, that's quite a big help if you're trying to get something across to somebody when there's a lot of information you want to sort of put out there.
Liz is asking, are the town halls called padrons? I know the answer to this one, but I'll let you do that.
No, the town halls are called ardiamentes or something, aren't they? The padron is actually it's like a census for your area. So you're go into the town hall, you'll set up a padron so the town hall knows you're in the vicinity, you're living here, so they know the count of the area sort of thing. I think they get funds from their main government for how many people are in their area. That's why they need padrons set for everyone that's living there. But padrons, sometimes usually you do need them to buy certain things like cars and big items that they go, they need to make sure you're in the area, I think.
But you live here, you have like a home here as well.
And NIE numbers, which are now TIE numbers. So, that needs to be always used as well in big purchases and things. So, again, it's paperwork. So sometimes when we go out and we need to sort something out, I take all my paperwork in a folder and go, just in case, because they go, have you got your padron? Have you got your NIE? You got your TIE? You got this, that, other. Here you go. So I've got it all. Because if you got something's missing, then it's just a waste of time. You better come back when you got it, and you've driven 20 minutes to go and sort this out. And, okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good advice. And viewers, if you think you're getting some good advice from this, make sure you click on the like button. I have to keep saying that every now and then. Is the so you're on the self-employed direction? And that's called autonomo. Is that expensive in taxes?
No, it seems to be a lot easier that way, because autonomo, obviously, because it's self-employed anyway, you'll pay, it goes up in stages. So when you start out, it's about 50 to 60 euros a month that you pay your accountant, and you pay your social securities on top of that. So if you didn't have that side, you'd have to at least have your personal health care out here, which can cost anything. There's companies out there who are pretty good and the other are quite extortionate, and that's hard to get into. But we've not gone into that side of things, so we don't need it, because we're paying into social security, which covers our health scheme side of things. So that gives us our doctor and the hospital, checkups and everything else. So
It doesn't include dentists, though, does it?
no.
Dentists,
And with the Autonomo, go back to that quickly, I would say it starts off with 50 or 60 pounds or whatever it is, euros a month. But then it goes up, it doubles after 18 months and goes up and up and up. And I think the top value is 300 and something euros that you pay a month Autonomo. So it's helpful because you can start getting your business and earning some money, and then obviously it won't be so hard to pay that money when it comes to that time when it changes. So, but it's all new because in the UK, being self-employed, you just do your work, you get paid, you get your paperwork, and you give that to your VAT man, and they sort it all out and say this is what you owe. Happy days. But here it's just get an accountant that's possibly well recommended, possibly English speaking. Not putting the Spanish down, but it's that breaking up in communication can cause a lot of delays and issues and worries. So go for the highest recommended one around your area. We found one lately that's very recommended and is very helpful. And we're talking to him at the moment, maybe about changing because it's just the delay issues at the moment. I don't know where I am with my older client. And this guy is well on the ball and he's English speaking. But it's just making sure you get your paperwork done on time as well, because they like a fine now and again. I've not heard of anyone lately that's had one, but if you don't pay or get your paperwork in, there can be fines involved in it. I know in the UK, if you haven't got your paperwork done within January or whatever it is, then they start threatening you with certain fines. So it's a similar case, but it's more strict out here. So it's just getting everything in line, really.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you're glad you got in before Brexit, though, aren't you?
Yeah, that was one reason why we sort of put the hurry on it, because obviously we sold our house in March 2020. Where are we now?
Yeah.
And literally dropped over here a couple of days, 4 days in March last year, in 2020, and found this place. Put the offer on just before we jumped on the plane. They accepted it just as we got on the plane. So we sat on the plane going, we just bought a place in Spain. Right, we better start sorting things out. But basically everything went into lockdown straight as we come back then. And since between that time in August, it was just, everyone was working part-time or not working at all. Solicitors, estate agents were all on lockdown. So trying to get information and paperwork sorted out, cross-referenced over, took so long, because you've got to remember, UK, when you buy and sell a house in the UK, the solicitors talk to each other. If you sell a house in the UK and buy one in Spain, they don't talk to each other. So you've got to sort out the UK and sort out Spain yourself. So that's what we had to time everything. Right, is that done? Okay, Spain, this is what's happening. And you're sort of relaying the information yourself between them. So it's quite a good task, really. It's an eye-opener. But again, recommended solicitor. Do not go for the estate agent solicitor for many reasons. But get a well-recommended solicitor, and just keep on the ball with them, because everyone sits back, and doesn't bother doing anything, pay them money, but it seems you keep kicking them all the time. Where are we? What's happening? Where are we now? Because we need to time everything. It's just the bills, removals, booking up your train tickets and, your routes down here and whatever it's going to be. So.
And any other top tips for people thinking of moving?
I would say, if you know the sort of area or areas that you are looking at, is to go and join the Facebook group for that area, because then you can ask them questions about the place, and if it's got this, if it's got that, and like Mark said, about recommendations for accountants and and sorting out different things, insurance, whatever it is, and people will give you that advice because they've already done it, they've been there, they've done it, so they know who to recommend to you. So although everyone has different views on Facebook, for this it is quite helpful to get that feedback and sort of recommendations as well.
Brilliant. We just had a Craig Nathan. He listens to mine and Liz's show on Wednesdays as well. Hello, Craig. He's listening in while working out. He's saying, "Great show, everybody. Good advice." And so give him a wave. Say hello, Craig.
Hello, Craig. Work
Keep
too hard.
working.
Yes. He's just, I don't know if he's on the weights or what. Are you doing your legs or is it upper body, Craig?
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can type while you're doing that. Anyway, so are there any other ways in that COVID or Brexit's affected you, either before or since you've got there?
Probably mostly to do with our work, the work sort of side. Obviously, we can only have so many people here. So although we have the holistic business for people locally to come to, we've also got 2 apartments as well that we will be renting out for people to come over for holiday retreats, have a holiday, relaxing holiday, and have some of the therapies that we give. Obviously, on that sort of side of things, people aren't allowed to travel at the minute, so that has been held up. It has slightly affected the holistic side as well. Obviously, people coming here, but we have found that a lot of our therapies we can do online, sort of video link, and a lot of those do work really well. We've sort of been quite surprised how well they do work. So apart from what I do, kinesiology and intolerance testing, apart from those 2, everything else we can do online. And I think that a lot of people have found that doesn't matter where they are, probably what business they're in, they have found that they've had to move over to, online working.
I'm old school, and I thought online working with Zoom would be, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. With hypnotherapy, I can't see it, because that physical face-to-face and just seeing expressions and energies from that person, I thought this isn't going to work. But the first one I ever did was ages ago, and it worked so well. And now I'm basically got to a stage where I'd rather do it on Zoom, because even people are giving me feedback now going, I felt so relaxed. I was in my own place and it felt really good. And, and the changes that they had were so strong as well, that, only needed one session per issue sort of thing. So, yeah, it's changed my view of the outlook on Zoom and online working. It's absolutely fantastic. And plus you can do it anywhere in the world. So, I've helped people in Canada, America, the UK, a lot of people in the UK still coming forward. It's just amazing, really.
But other than that, I think it's the same the world over at the minute. Restrictions anywhere, it's going to be the same in the UK as in here. Although, to be honest, I think you have, people in the UK are actually having it worse with the lockdown and restrictions than we are here.
Mm. Yeah, so I had a question from Donna Smith. This one came in online yesterday, I think. She says she's currently training to be a holistic therapist using Reiki, mindfulness, meditation, reflexology and aromatherapy. Somebody else in the same boat. She was wondering about Spanish insurance for holistic therapies and also how popular these really are over there.
Okay, liability insurance, obviously. We went through our accountant who had all our information and said, well, we need some liability. Help us. Yeah, no problem. So they've done that. That's perfect. It's all in Spanish. So if you need to translate it, that's the downfall of, translator and everything. But then I found out that there is cheaper insurances. There's better insurances out there. So again, maybe worth you just talking to other therapists out here and finding out who they're with, what they're getting coverage for. In the UK, that your insurances don't cover you to work with anyone in America, in the States, in Canada. So a lot of liability coverage doesn't go that far. It goes the rest of the world, which is strange. So be careful what's covered. Definitely get recommendations from other people, because price-wise can be a lot different, and coverage price-wise as well can be a lot of difference, from 500,000 to 2-3 million. So just check around. And it's all to do with what you're doing, really, because when you list down, what your work is, it's trying to cover all your therapies into one place, and that's hard to title sometimes. That's the only thing. Talk to somebody who's covering the similar things to you will help a lot, I think, to try and get the best deals. So,
yeah. Do you have 2 separate policies, or is there something that covers you both?
we're covered under one really, because obviously we've got the rentals and everything else. So we've got liability covers all the rentals. We've got liability under the same umbrella that covers us for the holistics, which also covers us for holistics, worldwide as well. So except for the States and Canada at the moment. Again, so we've changed that. But with we're going back to restrictions and travelling and everything else, because we're under the health scheme side of things here, the mental health side, we were allowed to change or move into different towns, municipals, because we're working with people under the health and mental health side of things. Everyone else is locked in, but if you're working to help someone mentally, then you were allowed through there. You get all the paperwork from your liability insurance, and that would cover you if you get pulled over from the Guardian, the police. You give them that, and they know exactly what you're doing, so you're allowed to do that sort of thing.
Well, that's good. This says Balens. I think that's who she's insured through. They're trying to find a way to insure in Spain. I don't know if you've heard of them. I don't know if they're Irish or English.
No, I think we went with Liberty Seguros. I think we're with them. Yeah. I'll get confused with my car insurance and the house insurance.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of insurances coming at the same time.
So it is.
This time next year, if you're paying annually, it's going to be a big heap of payouts, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I remember that when we moved into Ireland. It was August, the same as you, with everything. But now, over the years, gradually, we've managed to space them out, and we did sort of a car insurance for. On a monthly thing, and then when we changed the car, then we started paying a new one, and it became a different part of the year. So that was really helpful. Mind you, August was the time, because we're in a tourist area here. That's when a lot of the business was happening, especially with me doing music gigs and that as well. So anyway, that's enough about me. Was moving to Spain different from what you had expected?
Just to recap, just to go back a little bit when you're talking about insurances, that's another thing when you're in Spain, that your car insurance, your car tax, and your IBI, which is like your council tax, and your bin money, you got to pay monthly for your basura, which is your bin collections. You don't have bins at your house. Your bins will be along the road, and you can use any bin you want. There's massive grey bins and yellow bins and blue bins, glass, recycling, rubbish. So you don't get your personal bin collector. You've got to take your rubbish to the local bins. And if you're going into town, we just put them in the boot of the car and we just drop them off at the nearest bins. You can use any ones down there. But to pay them, again, you've got to go into the offices to set it all up, so you get your bank thing, your direct debits sorted and everything. But with the car tax, that's quite a worrying thing, because in the UK, you're going, I need to pay my car tax, so I better go online and pay it, or else I'm going to get towed off the road and everything else. But here I was just going, well, no one said anything, no one's given me any information. I've tried to find out. Went to the town hall and said, I need to pay my car tax. He goes, have you had a letter? I said, no. Oh, you'll get a letter in a couple of months. Don't worry about it. Okay, then. So I don't pay anything. He goes, no, don't pay anything until you get a letter. Don't worry. Okay. Really? That's the only panic I had. I'm going, is he pulling my leg? That's what it is. But anyone that owns a car in Spain, you pay that car tax from January to December. And if you sell that car in July, that new buyer doesn't pay any car tax because you paid it. So it's a different setup, but it's quite. I'm getting used to it now.
It's taken a while.
Yeah. That's the learning curve, isn't it?
And with your MOTs as well, where they call them ITVs here, you get a sticker that goes on your windscreen, and they just says the second month's peeled off for the year, and that's how the Guardian know that you've got an MOT, the sticker on the windscreen. So you've got no paperwork usually, but.
So you've got that's the same in Ireland, actually. We've got 3 things on the windscreens. We've got the tax, insurance, and it's called the NCT here, which is the MOT in the UK.
Yeah,
so it's like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. So yeah, what was the question? Was it different from what you expected? Was it different from the dream?
That's hard to say. Yes and no. Because obviously this isn't like normal life, is it? At the minute, we're all living in. So I think it's sort of being put on hold really to sort of really see what life in Spain is really like. But so far, it's been great.
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably better than we probably imagined. So it's only going to get even better once all the restrictions are lifted. So
I think the lockdowns come, well, we got everything done we wanted to do really to set the place out how we wanted it, and there was a lot of work to do. So it come at a time where it gave us that space to do it, so we can find our feet, get the things done that we needed to do in the right way, or else, I think maybe it could have been chaos if it was all normal. But it's worked out pretty well for us actually, because as I say, finding your feet can take a little bit of time, and what you need to do around your place to make it yours, and what you need, build the therapy room, build the swimming pool, everything else we wanted, it takes time. So, we were never quiet really. It was always.
We was given, when we was over here looking, we was given some advice by a estate agent, and she said, because she was an English lady, and she said that when you move over here, just do one thing at a time, concentrate on one thing at a time, because there's so much to do and get your head round. If you try to do it all at once, it's just going to be too much. So just tackle one thing at a time. And that's probably sort of like the best advice, really. Don't, be aware that you've got, a lot more to sort of sort out, but just tackle sort of one thing at a time.
That does sound like very good advice. That's I'm just checking to see whether there are any more questions. Anyone out there have any more questions? Put them in the chat. And I just have to say, actually, it's inspired me today. When we were thinking of moving to Ireland 9 years ago, talking about the dream of being, having a new life, it did feel more like a dream until we befriended some people over here who'd made the same move, and now that's kind of happening again. It's made it real talking to you. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got that, that you want to do something, go for it. It's definitely, you don't sit there and think, oh, I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd tried this. Go for it, do it.
It's right or wrong, you'll find out that it's an experience itself, a learning curve. And this was quite a high risk change for us, but something was drawing us to doing it. So, and it was just weird because we still sort of look at each other and go, why did we do this? There's a reason. We love it. We did it for a good, positive reason. But the real core or question about it, I don't know why we did it. It's just we just literally said, let's do it.
Meant to be. But I think it would be the only thing in life that if I was on my deathbed, or when I am on my deathbed, that if I look back and thought, what I should have done or shouldn't have done, and this would be, if I hadn't have done it, this would be one that I'd be regretting, that I hadn't at least had a go and tried it. So
on your list last night, didn't you? Your 5 things.
Yes, I had a list of, and I can't remember how long ago I wrote it now. It was a few years ago, and a list of 5 goals, and there was different things on there. And the last one was to have a retreat, holiday place, business in a warmer climate. And that was, so, I got that one.
It's like the bucket list, isn't it? What's
done?
It is. Yeah, that's so lovely to hear. And one advantage, I suppose, that we have is we emigrated to Ireland 8 years ago, and so we've already had that experience that we know there's going to be a learning curve, and but we got through it, and it's always good to. I think a lot of people are going through these changes because everything has changed with the lockdowns, and you're having to change your business all the time and work online. And I think it's good to hear from someone like you who've made a success, and it's only just going to get better.
Yeah, it will do. It will.
I think the excitement is to adapt to change, because now we're having to get used to that sort of thing. And as I said before, I'm old school, and I was scared of Zoom and everything, Skype and everything, online. And once you do it and you find it's quite good, and it gets even better, you think, wow, the only downfall are we going to stay like this for the rest of our life, doing Zoom to everyone? But no.
No, we'll be getting sort of one-to-one people back again.
Yeah, which we still are.
And the holidays side as well. People will, eventually start, travelling and coming over. So, yeah.
I think the human contact is definitely very important. I think a lot of people will do a mixture in the future. I mean, we didn't have a YouTube channel before this all started off, and we just kind of fell into it gradually because we just needed to get something out there, really. And it's changed everything. And I think this may end up being the main thing that we do, which will be a bit odd, sitting in a room in Spain, in a nice cool room, when out there it's all beautiful. But we might learn how to broadcast from the veranda or something like that, so we can be looking at the view. So, brilliant. Well, I'm going to let you go now, Adele and Mark. It's been absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm just going to switch myself around on the screen. We go, wee! And thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best in your business, and definitely stay in touch. We holistic therapist couples should form some kind of club and stick together and get together once every so often.
Hopefully we'll meet down in Spain somewhere at some point. Eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find. It depends on exactly where we're aiming, kind of for the Malaga area, I think, but we might be closer to Granada. I don't know, so we might be closer to you, but it's not that far away, really. And there's trains along the coast to Almeria from all the way down along the coast, so it'll be easy. And I think we'll use public transport quite a lot when we're there.
Okay.
So brilliant! It will be lovely to meet you.
Anyway.
Yeah, enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to all the viewers as well, and thank you for having us.
Yes, brilliant. Well, everybody say goodbye to Mark and Adele, and we'll wave now and say goodbye. So. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios. There we go. So that's all from me today. If you've stuck around this long, then give us a like and also subscribe and click on the bell. Where is it? Ding! And you'll get notifications about any future videos we have and any future broadcasts. I will see you next week when Chris from Up Sticks will be with me once again, our resident expert, and he'll be talking about what health insurance you need in order to get your visa and live in Spain and be resident, especially the non-lucrative visa. We've been talking about that for the last 2 sessions. If you have any questions about that, then you can ask them in the comments here, or ask them in the comments or in the chat when we're on the show live. And if you would like free yoga and meditation videos with my wife, Liz Scattergood, follow the link in the video description below, or you can watch our live show, which is on Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock GMT. So that's all from me. Just remember, if anyone can, you can too. So see you next week on YouTooSpain. And I'll just say peace and love. Bye for now.